We are 16 hours into day 3. I have got a medium tanks and attack bombers in research. Both medium tanks and attack bombers take 16 hours to research. I'm saving up resources now so that next day I'm gonna be able to research railroad guns, but as you can see it is very expensive. 5,700 steel, 4,550 oil and 4,550 rare materials. Economically I'm also doing very fine. I'm gonna filter on morale, so then I can see my core provinces because those have the biggest morale. I have now both in my rare material, metal and oil cities level 2 industry, and I'm also building 2 level 3 recruitment stations and 1 level 2 so that I can get more manpower. I've received a supply drop in Colombia, so I have plenty of food and goods and also money. It was a nice supply drop. Too bad it wasn't oil and steel, but anyway. Also the Blitzkrieg in Colombia is going great. However, the advantage of Blitzkrieg is that you take a lot of damage as you attack head on. You take less damage when you lose artillery, so you can see that I've lost 25% health. Also over here I've lost quite some health with the stack in Medellin. The advantage of Blitzkrieg, however, and attacking head on is that you can set long marches and you don't have to be online. Whereas if you play with artillery, for example, then you need to micromanage your artillery units. So if you can't be that active or you can't log in frequently, then a Blitzkrieg strategy like I am using is definitely the better choice. However, if you can put in the online time, then artillery in the early game can be interesting, but I chose not to because it's really expensive for access and I decided to go for rocket artillery instead. It adds a little bit of difficulty for the first 2 days to conquer AI countries, but other than that the strategy is really solid. As soon as I've taken Medellin, I'm gonna be able to take Bogota, so I can already move to Bogota now. In Bogota there are 2 infantry and 1 armored car. The armored car is gonna get shredded by my light tanks and the infantry is gonna get shredded by my armored cars, and then when I take the capital I'm gonna get an overall morale increase in all my provinces of 10%. I also have now already 5 rocket artillery, so that's pretty good. Got a 6th in production and the artillery stack is nicely protected with 6 anti-air, 8 infantry and an armored car as a scout unit, so that's a pretty good stack. Colombia, however, has made a big mistake because he has both a barracks, a tank plant and an aircraft factory in Medellin, but you can only produce 1 unit at a time. So if you produce a plane, both your barracks and your tank plant are idle. There's always 2 production centers that is gonna be idle. It's so stupid. You better do like me and you specialize per city in a branch. This way you are saving resources, because as you always have 2 idle buildings over here, that's wasted resources, man. You can simply specialize in each city. So Bogota tanks. In Medellin he should have gone for a barracks or an aircraft factory, but not all 3 of them. Idle buildings are a waste of resources. The lack of artillery at the front is hurting because I've got my stack over here now at 50% health and I've got my other one who is at 75% health, and this is the disadvantage of Blitzkrieg. You can move faster, you don't have to micromanage, but your units take damage. And I'm a bit frustrated because I've got a nice stack of artillery here that I could just use to shell the enemy, but they are too far and I want to keep units in my core provinces to prevent any incursion from South Mexico. May he have the audacity to attack me. So I'm taking more losses than I should. So these 2 stacks over here, as soon as I have conquered the provinces, I'm going to leave them there for day change, because your units in your own territory heal up with 15% each day change. It doesn't matter if it's your core provinces or your conquered provinces. Also planes operating from your air bases heal 15% and ships can heal anywhere. That's a nice thing to know. We got 1 tank plant upgrading to level 2 now. Also in the last cities I'm now building recruitment offices, so everything is going fine. I'm just taking too many losses at my taste due to the lack of artillery support in the south. You can see they have a lot of money now. I have 91k. That is because I've received a lot of money from the capital of Colombia. If I scroll down, then you can see they've received 27,000 money, also 2,200 oil, got 2,500 goods, another 500 steel, 2,200 food, a lot of money. It is pretty interesting tempting to play aggressively, even if your units take a bit of damage. However, you should try never to lose your capital, because if you lose your capital, your province morale will drop with 30%. You can see Colombia only has a 59 province morale left, and if your economy shrinks with 30% and you've lost your capital with half of your money, you are in a pretty bad proposition. And I need firepower at the front, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to split this up. I'm going to take 5 artillery, 1 armored car, and I'm going to send it over here. There we go. I'm going to send my naval bombers over here so that they can protect the embarking zone. There we go. Perfect. Got 4 interceptors now. Let's put them on troll. There we go. Done.
The next day.
Alright, we are day 4, and day 4 is always super important because at day 4 the mightiest army list is being published in the newspaper. So let's have a look. And I am not doing that bad because I have 4% of the mightiest armies all over the map. The mightiest army is calculated by the offensive damage output of your army. And you can see I'm doing pretty good. I am actually followed by South Mexico, so I'm gonna have to be careful of him. So the combination of Blitzkrieg and investing in economy has paid off. And as soon as I get these artillery in place, that's gonna be perfect. Day 4 also means unlocking new technologies. For Axis, the most important technology that gets unlocked is in the secret branch, the railroad gun. The railroad gun is just over the top. It has 110 range. That is a lot. It has a lot of hit points, but it's very weak in melee battle, so needs to be protected properly, preferably by 10 anti-air to be safe against bombers. We need anti-tanks and militia or infantry, which I will do in this game because I already have 36 of them. The railroad gun is an offensive unit that has the longest range of all units. It is best used to bombard troops and cities from far away, dealing the most damage to heavy armored targets and buildings. To make use of its huge range, it needs other units as spotters, so you need to put a scout unit in there, either an armored car or a motorized infantry to enhance the line of sight, but you can also patrol with interceptors, for example. The minimum production time is 10 hours, and to do so you need a level 4 secret lab, and you can see that the railroad gun is not only expensive to research but also produce. You need 2.8 steel, 2.2 oil and 2.2 rare materials. All other doctrines unlock it only at day 6. Axis can unlock it at day 4, but in reality you're not gonna be able to produce it at day 4 because it's too expensive. You don't have the economy to do so, but theoretically you could. You also have a larger range than other doctrines, so that's great. Now let's see how mighty my army is. 32 infantry units, 4 interceptors, 5 submarines, 15 armored cars, 5 light tanks, 2 naval bombers, 6 anti-air and 7 for rocket artillery. That brings up with a total of 76 units, and second ranked in the ranking list was South Mexico with 61 units, so he has 15 units less than me. It is looking good, guys. It is looking good. My build order is working. Another event that happens at day 4 is that players turn AI. As this is a beginner's map, a lot of players have turned AI. You can recognize them by the players who have a computer screen like this one over here. This is a 50-player map, of course. A couple of players have already been conquered, and on top of that about 22 players went AI, which leaves only 16 players that are active on the map. And so at A4, those inactive player countries, they are getting taken over by an artificial intelligence. When you go to the diplomacy menu, you can filter on AI, and then you can see over here that all the active players, they have a green face, and then once you have the AI players, they are white with an X. So you can see that quite a lot of players have gone AI, a large part of the map. And then the computer screens, they are the default AI, which I had given shared intelligence. What I'm now gonna do to increase my popularity with the AI is I'm going to give right of way with all the players that have gone AI. Why? Because then I'm gonna be more popular. Secondly, I'm giving right of way and not shared maps or shared intelligence, because these players, they can always come back. You go AI when you haven't logged in for 2 in-game days. So from now on, players that haven't been active for the last 2 days, they are gonna go AI. It's just in the start of the game. The first time it only happens at day 4. And so giving them right of way also will permit you to see who went AI and came back afterwards. Then you know that these are players that don't lag on very frequently, and so if you see all of a sudden that a player who has right of way is active, you know that he was previously AI, largely inactive, and you can attack him without worrying too much about losing the game. If you want to know more about diplomacy with AI, I'm gonna put the link in the description. And so they start building, they start producing units, they start moving. And so in Colombia's case, his units have started moving, which is pretty cool for me, because now finally I can attack that stag over here. He still had some units left over here. This one I'm gonna actually send it to where I intended. There we go. To continue with the conquest. I don't think there's gonna be much left over here anyways, but the provinces are huge. And this is a huge province as well, mountains, in which my units there are, well, 50% slower, so that's gonna take a long time, man. Mountains over here, mountains over here. So you should never underestimate AI, because they don't eat, they don't sleep, they don't work, they don't go to school, they move at least 4 times a day. And so if you're not careful and you're not active enough, AI, they can easily conquer you. A lot of beginners, they struggle with AI, but they are like the perfect training ground before you go to war with the more experienced players. Let's also see now how I've done against Colombia. I've killed 30,000 manpower, so that's about 30 units, and I've lost 6,000 and a half. That's a lot. That's 1 in 4 approximately. That's too much. I haven't lost any units, but my stacks are down into manpower, so it's easy. You can filter here enemies, politics, or you say all. You can also filter over here by country. There's a lot of information in the newspaper. You can see, for example, that North Dakota versus Manitoba, the 1st Infantry Division has been destroyed after heavy bombardment, meaning this player is using artillery, or rocket artillery for that matter. And so by reading the news, some player, when they're playing, you can see what kind of units they are losing. If a player is losing a lot of tanks, for example, then you know, well, this player uses tanks. So if you want to attack him, or you're gonna face him in combat, then you know that you're gonna need, for example, anti-tank, tank destroyers. Also artillery, SP artillery are units that counter tanks, or attack bombers. Those attack armored units as well. It is always good to know who is at war with who. You can see, for example, that South Mexico hasn't lost a lot of units versus Mexico City, because he chose to make artillery at the start of the game. He's expanding slowly, but he is having less losses, so that makes up for something, right? In 22 minutes, the attack bomber research will finish, and then I am going to research level 2 interceptors. I'm not gonna produce attack bombers yet, because I don't have a network of air bases yet, and I would like to have a couple more interceptors. There's no point in having bombers if you are not able to protect your aircraft. I don't want to lose my bombers, so I should at least make a couple of interceptors first, right? And as a lot of players have gone AI, the stock market has dropped its prices, because more resources are getting put on the market by the AI. And as I have a lot of money, it is a go time. I want to buy this, I want to buy steel. That's nice, man. Now I have a 5,000 steel, 5,000 oil, and I've got 4,000 rare materials, so I might actually be able to research railroad guns instead of level 2 interceptors. Still not, but I'm awfully close. So I should save up to research railroad guns first, because when the research finishes for the infantry, then I can always put interceptors level 2 right there and then, before I finally go to research level 4 infantry, which takes 10 hours. It is almost time for me to go to bed, so I can already put something in research, as my attack bomber research has been finished. And what I would like to do is I really need to upgrade my submarines, because yesterday at day 3 destroyer level 2 became available, and if I want to stay stealth I need to have at least level 3, so I need to stay ahead of the research. So it takes 12 hours, so I'm gonna start that. That's gonna take a better part of the night. You should always research the fast research during the day and the long research of 12 hours or more during the nighttime. You should try to always research around the clock. what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna speed up the research time so that I can start researching a level 4, because I don't want to stay up another 2 hours. So I'm just gonna use my boosters. There we go, that's done. Now I can research infantry level 4. There we go, that takes 10 hours. That's good, no time left to waste. As you are a beginner, you shouldn't be ashamed of using boosters or gold a little bit once in a while. I mean, you get it for free with the ads, right? So if you watch the video advertisements, you might as well lose the spoils that you get. As a pro player, I don't really use boosters or gold as I have mastered the game, but you as a beginner, don't worry about it, man. You're still gonna have a lot of fun in this game. Now it is all set, I can go to bed. I'm just going to scout with my naval bombers to see what is happening over here, how many units there are. It's gonna arrive in 15 minutes, so just before I put my head on the pillow, I'm gonna check that on my phone, and I'm gonna send back my naval bombers back to the embarkation zone, because that's a valuable stack. I don't want to lose that sea. You should never ever send your units unescorted at sea. You can always get ambushed by naval units. As Axis get very good subs, and I've made a couple of naval bombers, I'm doing the best I can. Ideally, you stack your convoys with destroyers and cruisers, or with destroyers and battleships, but it works as well, you know. And I'm just thinking about the fact that it's not a good idea to scout with my naval bombers, because there's an interceptor over here. I don't want to get damaged, man, because if that patrol ticks when I'm flying in or out, then my naval bombers are gonna get damaged for nothing. So yeah, I am going to send those back. There we go, because I've adjusted my march. I'm not gonna go into this mess over here. Just need to hope that those 7 units won't get attacked by a lot of armored cars, because these are planes over here. I'm not getting a bonus, but other than that, I'm all set for the night. So we'll see each other in the morning.
The next morning.
Alright, I've been saving up a bit of manpower while I was producing a rocket artillery over here. Got the last one in production, that number 10. I went on a recruitment station building spree. I've got now in each province level 2 or level 3 constructing. I've got now almost 500 manpower that I produce an hour, so that's pretty amazing. So it's time to upgrade units. My infantry is level 3. It takes 1 hour 45 to upgrade them, and your upgrade costs the half of a new unit cost. So if you upgrade 2 units, you can produce 1 new unit. Now, which is cool is when you upgrade units, for example over here at the front line, you don't need to wait for a newly produced unit to arrive from your core provinces all the way to the front, because you receive it immediately after the upgrade. You're instantly gonna have a better unit that deals more damage, has more HP, and moves faster. So it's really interesting to upgrade units. However, there's a couple tricks to it. Firstly, you are not obligated to upgrade every level. So my infantry is level 1. When I upgrade them, they're gonna be level 3, because when you upgrade a unit, as you can read, upgrades all eligible units in this army to the highest available level. The highest available level, that means you can skip levels. I can upgrade this unit and it will not be level 1 but level 3. During upgrading, units are immobile and can only defend. That's very important to know. You cannot move your units. But there is more to it, highest available level. So if I would upgrade this infantry right now and the upgrade is done, it wouldn't be level 3, but it would become a level 4. Why? Because in 1 hour 17 my level 4 research will finish, and once my unit finishes upgrading, which takes 1 hour 45, the highest available level will not be level 3 but level 4. So basically I can skip level 2, I pay for a level 3 upgrade, but I'm gonna get a level 4 upgrade. So I can skip 2 research levels, which saves a lot of resources, which is pretty cool because access is expensive, right? So I'm gonna confirm this. I need to do the same with the other artillery. You can select them all, but in my case, I'm just gonna do it like this. I'm out of food because I have produced recruitment centers everywhere, so I don't have a lot of food, so I'm just going to use the booster cards. I'm rarely out of food, so I never use those booster cards anyway, so let's do that. I'm gonna upgrade until I don't have manpower left anymore. There we go. Got all the units in my core provinces that are gonna be level 4 soon. Next up will then also to be researching level 3 subs, and I need to start researching also anti-air over here in preparation of the railroad gun stack, so I can already start constructing an ordnance foundry, but I don't have the food. It's a never-ending quest. In Call of War, you always need to prioritize because you only have a limited amount of resources, so you can't do everything. Either you construct, you research, you upgrade, you produce units, but well, you can't do it all. And I see I've lost a province over here, so the units that were here in Sogamosa must have went for a walk. And then also here I've got one province that I've lost, but it's fine. There's not a lot around here, so I am going to add a target. There we go. And here I'm gonna add a target as well. Perfect. Done. My rocket artillery are gonna be finished disembarking soon. Then I'm gonna have some artillery support to attack the rest of South America. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and hit that bell button for notifications. And I want to say a warm thank you to my members and elite members for supporting this channel.